on Rosh Hashanah, what do you say over there? That's exactly the same, right? Then all of a sudden it says the Nemar. Is that the same Nemar that you say during the week?
No, because it's saying something else.
No, it's not the same. Now what happened with Rosh Hashanah? They probably, when they made it up, they were a little drunk. They had too much to drink, and what they did is they put it in different passage. Okay, very strange. How many psukim do you find? What? Wait a minute. Count the Emma. Listen, what math do you guys take? Go back to learn arithmetic. My God. What? Two?
I played with the
Wait, who says anybody else say it says right after Sudas or Sefer, and then it says one is Hashem Yimol Boed, and what's the second one? But we beat over the Yaakov is number 2, and then number 3 is Vahi B'Shur and Melech, right? 3 psukim that you have. Where do these psukim come from? Has to be from the Torah. Then you go down to Yerei Kosher Kosher Shuvei Mor. Right? How many psukim do you have here? How many? 3. Then you go to Val Yudea, but that's not a Vini Konsuv Bemor. How many do you have there?
4.
How many?
4.
3. Yeah, something got about fun.
All your day?
No, Al Yudea is not a person. After the first Nemar is Oru Moshiyim, then Goyla Hashem Melech Al Kol Eretz Vayom Hu Hashem Echad V'Shmo Echad, and then somehow or other you have what? U'V'Soras Kol Kusu Beimor. Where's that from? Torah. Therefore, what you have over here is a unique format. There are 10 psukim. 3 from the Torah. 3 from who? What? Suvim.
Why did Suvim before Nevi'im?
What?
Why is Suvim before Nevi'im?
What's your name again?
Shimon.
You're a troublemaker. What's your last name? What's your last name?
Porish.
That's what you should do. Be a Porish. Porish means separate. Get out of here. The truth of the matter is that's great because I really want you to be, interactive. I'm not a lecturer. I'm a teacher in the old days. So I really appreciate it. I'm getting to show it around with you. Now, so Mr. Porish had a great question. Take a look. In Tanakh, what do you have? Zvi said before you have Torah, Nevi'im, Suvim. And what do you have here? Torah, Ksuvim, and Nevi'im. Why is there a change? That is a good question. Solid question. Man is a thinker. Any ideas? Man, I don't have it either. Anything I say is all backed up. I don't know anything. All I did is I took from a portion and just worked it through. You see, but I don't say anything usually. I'm limited in time. So the Abucham says like this, I think, one of the remaining posters. Which psukim come from the Kesuvim? Look over there. Where do they come from?
Tehillim.
What? Tehillim. Who wrote Tehillim?
David.
Where do all the psukim come from? From the Nabi. What? Take a look.
Your book. No, Zechariah, Obadiah, and
Yeshaya,
Yeah, the truth is, these guys, these Nevi'im were a little bit. Who lived before who? David Amelech came before all the Nevi'im. Therefore, chronologically, we put the Ksuvim first. And that's why you have the order that you did. Okay? And that really solves this particular problem. Okay, but again, I am very limited. You guys gave me a tremendous limit in time. However, what I'm going to do is like this. I want those who passed out the material, if you could do it again. And you can take these home, and you can go over them and share whatever you like. There's a lot more, but we'll see what we can do. to make it short, when you get the sheet, I'd like you to look on the sheet where it says Shofros. On the right side, the right column says Shofros. Then there's an English column which translates it, and then finally there's some portion on the left. Okay? When you get it, I'd like you to read now in 2 minutes where it says Shofros, the Shofar blast. If you can read it, go through it quickly. Just read what it says. In other words, you got it with me? Again, on the side that's the first column. Second column says Shofar blast, and then it gives you the English translation of this bracha. Take a look at it. Read it in English. Good, thank you. When you finish, if anybody does finish, and you have a question, raise your hand. I'm not going to bite you like I do the Polish. Yes, it's me. Excellent question. Excellent. Now, it's me asking a great question. See, what grade are you? 11th grade.
Second year.
That's a great one. Very good question for the Hebrew. Why is it that you have this whole block of children over there? That's many, many more than we normally have. That's a good question. Any questions about the English? Yes?
Why is it said underline?
Oh, good question. The reason is because that's really the last puzzle. In other words, there's supposed to be 3, 3, 3, and 1 of the Torah. So this is the one of the Torah. Now again, I got to watch my time here because the rabbis are in the time. The question that comes up is, this bracha doesn't make any sense. What's the whole idea of shofar? Waking up. There's nothing in this bracha about waking up. Nothing at all. What's it talking about? What's that?
Praising Hashem.
I'm sorry, praising Hashem. Right? But what is it? What's the shofar doing over here? What are they talking about? Get up. No. One theme that this is talking about. Any idea? Mike, so who said that? It's me, 3 for 3, not bad. All right. I guess you know, it was the turkey from Bowling, right? We used to have in one yeshiva that I taught, and I'm not going to say where. I had a lot of trouble with the guys and the discipline. I used to throw them out of class. I made up a deal. If you didn't get thrown out the whole week, we went bowling Friday morning. It was great. I went bowling almost every Friday morning. I never had such a good score in my life. One of the times was unbelievable. Now don't do that here because they're not going to take you bowling. They're going to send you home with a note. Okay, so the point is, just to make it very short, it really does not talk anything about truth. If you turn the sheet upside down on the other side. Now on the other side, I used to teach at Mr. Rothenberg, who was a lawyer in Philadelphia. I used to teach at his office for almost over 20 years maybe. And now my son-in-law, Rabbi Max, is teaching there. So I used to give them the Rashidish music, from the English, and what I did was, I gave them the top part of the kasha. I turned over the answers so they shouldn't cheat, in order that they should think. And then once we worked it out, then we turned the sheet upside down. So I did the same thing over here for you guys. Basically what happens is like this. On the bottom of the sheet, if you turn it over so you can read it, you will see the 3 primary ikrim. You see that? If you turn the sheet over, it says seasons of majesty, days of awe, by Rabbi Zachariah Findel. You got that, guys? Got it? Yep. Now, Rabbi Findel, I believe, was probably the first one who started the high school in Forest Hills. I was told, probably the only person who she would let him in the old days take over his watch here. He was a tremendous Talmid Chacham. And he was the principal for many years, and he left, and he wrote many svarah, which are absolutely incredible. This sefer, whatever you can get from him, you got to try to buy. If you can't get it, you'll come, give me a call. I'll give you the number of his wife. He passed away. His wife has svarah in Brooklyn, and you can call her, tell her I told you to call me and order the svarah. Absolutely incredible. And he says like this, he quotes with Yosef Aldo. Now, many of you never heard of Yosef Aldo. I don't know if anybody ever heard of Yosef Aldo. Yosef Aldo was a Rishon. He lived in the probably late 1300s and the beginning of the 1400s. He was famous for a sefer that he wrote called the Sefer Ha'ikrim. According to the Rambam, and I'll try to end very quickly, according to the Rambam, how many key principles are there for Judaism?
10. 13, Mark,
13. All right. But there's 10 is not there. What's your name?
Stanley.
Stanley what?
Greenblum.
Where are you from?
Elizabeth.
Elizabeth. How come you travel so far from Elizabeth? Why did you
Look at the Rabbi. That's all I have to say.
That's a bit okay. Super.
That's what I was going for.
I'm in the middle of how much did you just make?
What's that?
We were gonna send him home tomorrow, so now we'll let him.
Good. So, the Yosef Aldo reduces the ikrim of the Rambam into 3. And he says there are 3 ikrim. In other words, if you really want to reduce what Judaism is all about, you can put it in 3 instead of 13. In other words, he takes the Rambam and he just squeezes it together. Of course, out of the 3 will come 13. But he reduces it to 3. And this is what he says. He says the whole Shemona Esrei is really made on the basis of these 3 ikrim. Now look at that. The first one is talking about Malchus, Hashem being the king. That's crucial, right? And that's really the theme of Rosh Hashanah all of these days. Hashem is being the king of the world. If Hashem is the king, then what are we? His subjects. We're his avodim. If we're avodim, then we have certain responsibilities, right? That brings a person to, that's crucial to understand that principle. The second one, he says like this. He says, Now the second one is talking about Hashem remembering the principle of divine providence, that Hashem sees everything. Hashem knows everything. And this is true. Hashem knows everything. He knows even before you do something, he knows it. He doesn't have a bad memory, right, like some of us have. He knows gunshots, Balpet, plus everything else that happened in the world from the beginning of creation. He has no problem no problem at all in getting his memory to produce everything. Hashem knows everything. That's pretty scary. In other words, every thought that I have, every action that I do, Hashem knows it all. And then finally he comes and says, the third principle is Matan Torah. The idea that we were given that of the Torah at Har Sinai. And that, of course, is represented by the shofar. And that's why the bracha of shofars has nothing to do with tshuva. It has to do with Matan Torah. And what he says is that if you take these 3 principles and you really work them over into yourself, then what will happen is you'll feel them deeply, and this, of course, will help us come to the Yom Hadin. For the high school, we're going to cut it here because you have to really, get back. And thanks for joining us, and thank you for your comments. You can take them if you want, that's for sure.